Good afternoon and welcome back once again to the Aura News broadcast for our daily English news edition. As usual, I'm Daniel Cook, your host, presenting a translated version of the news Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. The Institute of Statistics has reported that the growth of wages in the private sector has slowed significantly in the second quarter of this year, reflecting the financial difficulties in the business sector. Faced with the loss of income and profits, business owners are reducing costs and not giving raises to their employees. The Institute reads that the annual rate of wage increase was 7.6% in the second quarter of this year. Compared to the same period last year, the growth rates have been cut in half. In the second quarter of last year, the rate of increase was 15.4%. The slowdown in wage growth testifies to the difficult financial situation of the business sector. There has even been shrinkage of wages in the service industry, in which salaries decreased by almost 2%. This reflects the unfavorable international business conditions, including the fall of oil and mineral prices. Even in manufacturing, wages are rising more slowly than a year ago. The construction sector has shown a higher growth rate in terms of wages, which is in line with its favorable performance in the second quarter of the year. The construction sector was the leader in economic growth, as the result of increased capital expenditures on the eve of local elections. Amid increasing accusations of corruption, the judges, prosecutors, and lawyers have asked not to be so widely accused, since they are in support of the justice reform. They gathered for the first time in a meeting called by the Ministry of Justice. They all expressed that they support the Venice Commission opinions, but the judges are worried that the draft does not reflect the concerns that they expressed during their consultations with the Commission. The prosecutors demanded that the reformation of the justice system should bring true independence from political power. The Minister of Justice, Iliman, supported them, declaring that the reform has been correct but unilateral in regard to them. The judges, prosecutors, and lawyers declared that caution should be used in the creation of new institutions because there is a lack of qualified people and the necessary revenue to support them. The Democratic Party experts have presented the recommendations of the Venice Commission on the judicial reform. The Democrats feel that this report clearly shows the need for a new draft, which must be drafted with consensus and must be based on the Venice opinion. They claim that the report reflects the opposition's concerns, including the participation of parliamentarian minority in the election of chairman and members of the constitutional institutions. The need for a new draft that completely encompasses the opinions of the Venice Commission was also expressed by the U.S. Ambassador Donald Liu several days ago. The Socialist Movement for Integration shared the same opinion, praising the recommendations and requesting consensus in drafting this reform. In a 136-point draft, the Venice Commission notes that many of the amendments are complicated, especially concerning competences and the control of the institutions. According to Venice, the Constitutional Court should have the competence to review the procedure for constitutional changes. Another important element is to review the role of the Minister of Justice in the High Judicial Council. The Venice Commission has requested a clarification of the responsibilities of the Prosecutor General and rejected the interruption of his mandate. On behalf of the majority, the chairman of the Ad Hoc Commission for Justice Reform, Fatmir Xhafaj, has said that this reform will no longer be a product of political bargaining, as it has been for the past 25 years. He made this comment: "The judicial reform is now a tangible reality, while it used to be taboo. I feel good when I see the path the reform has traveled. It is an excellent, comprehensive, transparent, and professional process. No other law in 25 years has passed through a process with these standards." Xhafaj conveyed a message to any who have been skeptical or indifferent toward the reform. He said, "Welcome to the train of the reform. This is the train of justice for the citizens, and not for the politicians and public officials. We should all be punished equally before the law. Whoever accepts this journey is welcome." According to Xhafaj, it is too late in this phase of the reform to continue with consultations. He went on, "Those who have been against this reform are now becoming part of it in order to be aligned with the reform. Mr. Xhafaj said that the consensus that has been reached and the discussions that have been held have been historic. He praised the assistance given by the internationals and commended the important role that the ambassadors have played in this process, especially in the maintenance of the reform. The Assembly Speaker Ilir Mehta has sent a letter to the President of the Venice Commission expressing his gratitude for the contribution to the justice reform. Mr. Mehta gave his assurance that a constitutional and legal package will be made based upon the Venice recommendations and based upon the highest international standards. He wrote that a comprehensive and transparent consultation process will respond to the needs of the Albanian society for the reformation of the justice system. The Assembly Speaker declares that the Venice recommendations will be the guideline for the content of the constitutional package and for the organic laws of the judicial reform. Invited to be a guest on Tonight Il Vetare, Tirana's Mayor Erion Valiaj said yesterday that the fine imposed on the Democratic Party for the damage caused during the December 8th protest will definitely be paid. He denied the opposition's claims that the inspector's signature on the fine paperwork is a forgery. Mayor Valiaj said that the inspector who signed the order is the son of one of the organizers of the protest, and he was pressured into saying that he did not sign the paper. Mr. Valiaj said that if the signature on the paperwork does not belong to the inspector, and if this is proven by the court, then he will personally take responsibility. He also commented on the threat from the Association of Public Transport, which gave warning that it will stop operating on January 1st if its demand for higher bus ticket prices is not met. Mr. Valiaj declared that this is blackmail and he will not give in to it. He gave his assurance that the ticket price will not be raised to 70 lek and that he will try to find a solution to this issue. According to him, the public transportation must first improve its quality of service, and then they can talk about increasing ticket prices. He also spoke about city cleaning, announcing that the City Hall is working on opening its own cleaning enterprise. He believes that this will provide better service than the private companies that are currently in charge of city cleaning. Kosovo's Prime Minister Isa Mustafa has exhorted all the parties, especially the opposition, to respect the decision of the Constitutional Court on the Association of Serb Communes. According to Mustafa, the decision is in accordance with the agreement of principles. He was backed up by the U.S. Embassy in Kosovo, which released the following statement. We point out that the court clearly states that the Association of Serb-majority municipalities will be established under the Brussels Agreement and provides guidance to ensure that its foundation is made according to the Constitution and to the laws of Kosovo. Otherwise, the agreement on the establishment of the Association of Serb-majority municipalities is not entirely in harmony with the Constitution of Kosovo, reads the statement. A representative of the EU office in Kosovo made the same appeal to the parties to create an association of Serb communes according to the agreement. He said that he is waiting for all the parties to respect the decision of the Constitutional Court. Once again, thank you for choosing Aura News as your source for updates in English. Have a great Christmas Eve and see you tomorrow.